All right, who's ready to do a fucking show?
We'll do it. And then we'll do it, and then we'll decide if we want to do a cold open afterwards, like we did last night. That worked out. That worked out insanely well.
Bianca Belair, Io Shirai, and your least person.
Yeah, hopefully she gets pinned first.
What do you all have against Toni Storm? Seriously.
It's not funny. She talks like a 4-year-old.
That'll be a good cold
Thank you.
That'll be a good cold opener. The announcement of the 5-on-5 women.
You know, with Matt Riddle, it made sense. You know, he smoked himself stupid. Welcome everybody to the NXT review of NXT War Games 3. I am your host, the Rated R reviewer, Stefan Osborne, joined as always by the General Jerry Slaughter.
Good evening, wrestling fans.
And tonight we've got a different panel of 4 to help us review NXT War Games. We've got, as we did with the predictions, Noah Foster, the Simple Man. How's it going, Noah?
It's going well. Holy shit. What a show.
Also back from the predictions, we've got King Evan Francis. How's it going, Evan?
It's another crazy night, man. That was fantastic. I'm ready to dive into this.
Joining us for the first time in a good while, it's great to have you back, Cindy G, the Duchess. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. That takeover, it was fucking fantastic.
I couldn't agree more. And back by popular demand, we've got Chris Mace, the Holiday. How's it going, Chris?
Oh, I'm glad to be back with y'all. It's been over a month. I missed doing videos with y'all. I'm glad to be back. Let's just talk about War Games. I love this fucking show.
All right, well, before we get to War Games, we have the War Games pre-show.
Yep.
And for the first time, I guess they said ever, I guess in 7-8 years of NXT, the first time we've had a TakeOver pre-show that has a match. Because usually the matches before TakeOver are all dark matches, and we end up seeing them on the show the Wednesday after TakeOver.
But now we're live on Wednesdays.
We're in the live generation. There is no seeing shit after the fact. It either happens live or it doesn't happen. Basically.
I think they were probably planning it that way too. It's like, what can we have as a dark match? It's like, why would we need a dark match? To air something on NXT television? Oh.
So in this case, we already knew we were going to get the match. We just didn't know it was going to be so early in the night. Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Angel Garza. To me, this seems like a #1 contendership for the Cruiserweight Championship.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, the way they've been treating these two guys on NXT, and I don't know how they've been treating them on 205 Live, though, so I'm going to go first to Noah Foster.
Well, they canceled the show last night.
Oh, they did?
They didn't have an airing.
Wow.
Yes, that's correct. They re-aired NXT. I don't know what the state of the brand at this point is, but as far as these two, Isaiah Swerve Scott, I finally got his name right. Isaiah Swerve Scott's been making waves on 205 Live, constantly defeating the likes of Arya Daivari. He's been in matches back and forth with Angel Garza, who was his opponent here tonight. They shared victories. Angel Garza's been getting some momentum on 205 Live himself in matches against Roberto Carrillo, Jack Gallagher, and even, who did he just face? Tony Nese. So both of these guys have pretty good momentum going in between their matches and the overall crowd appeal, because they're both extremely over, between 205 Live and NXT. So this match could have gone either way. And considering Angel Garza has faced the Cruiserweight Champion, but also has an alibi why he could get a rematch, based on the outcome of this match, I totally understand your point. I can see that happening. Good match.
Tell us about your experience with this match, Evan.
I'm a fan of both. I think that, this was a really good match and introduction for a lot of people to exactly what Noah was just talking about as far as Swerve Scott, because he has a tool set, a skill set on him that's just fantastic. Garza, we've been seeing him every week on NXT. He's the real deal. I'm excited to see where this goes next with Garza, because I feel like he's a potential candidate for a future cruiserweight title run. He's got it. He's got it. It was a great match. I enjoyed it. It was a really good opening match. Well received too.
Chris?
I thought it was a pretty damn good match. Myself, like I said, we've seen him fight 4 on 205 Live. We've seen him fight in NXT. Like I said, this match, I feel like to me, determined the number 1 contender. Angel Garza's got a good point, though. Like I said, he lost the match to Leo Rush. Like I said, it's a good way to build momentum. He got more momentum beating gentleman Jack Gallagher recently. Here tonight, he picked up a win over Isaiah Swerve Scott. Oh, man, I said his name right. That's a miracle, too. But, like I said, he picked up the win. I thought for sure Scott was going to win after he hit his finish. I said, hey, he is going to win. I was fucking shocked Garza kicked out. But like I said, it's going to be interesting. I think Angel Garza is going to gun for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship, and if he gets another opportunity at it again, he's going to win that title from Leo Rush.
And damn it on the result.
Mm-hmm.
Cindy, did you watch Did you know to watch? Were you watching?
Yes, I did watch the kickoff, the first ever kickoff match in NXT history, and that actually brought out much more of an example of, like, this is how a kickoff match is supposed to be. And thank goodness it's just one match altogether. Mm-hmm. Isaiah Swerve Scott and Angel Garza did a fantastic job delivering what they can capable to do. But in regarding for like a long shot, I don't think that we're going to be seeing the last of them yet, especially like a potential number 1 contendership for the NXT Cruiserweight title. Well, all is said and done, I'm curious to see what the future is going to hold for the future NXT TakeOver show, especially with like that particular kickoff. Like, are we going to see more of like the NXT Cruiserweight in the kickoff? Are we going to see various of others? Time would tell.
Now, the reason I asked if you even saw this match is because it's only by chance that we even saw it.
Yeah.
We weren't really going to watch the kickoff.
It was Toronto all over again. We almost missed the first match.
we happened to be here. Might as well turn it on. We watched the last 10 or 12 minutes of NXT from this week, and then we watched the kickoff. And just so happens they threw this match in. And bless these wrestlers, they got to come out in the midst of the set, like the lighting and all the shit from the producer, and they're just hanging out, waiting for them to go to the ring. Like, are they going to still be there? Apparently, yeah, they were still there after the fact.
Yeah.
But I think we noticed one of the announcers or the commentators.
Yeah.
What's his name? Pat McAfee. Went to do a fist bump.
He went to do a fist bump to Swerve, and Swerve just kept on walking, and so he fist bumped himself and just.
My problem with this match is that it should have been on TakeOver.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
TakeOver ended 30 minutes prior to 10 o'clock, like 9:30. Like, that's the earliest of a pay-per-view that I've ever heard of. I mean, I know it started at 7, but still.
Yes.
We usually goes from 7 till 10.
They could have done this match along with the angle with the women's War Games match, and we'll get into that. They could have done all of that at the beginning of TakeOver, and this could have been on the main show, because I noticed when Swerve came out, they did one shot. They made one mistake. They showed him up against the barricade on the hard camera side, and there was nobody in the front row.
Right.
These motherfuckers bought front row seats, and they're still not there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, soft camera, or maybe it's hard camera side on the other side. Anyway, you know, the side that you can see from the hard camera is all full and shit. But it kind of makes me mad, because this was a good enough match to be on TakeOver.
Yeah, it should be.
Absolutely.
I've got several notes here.
Agreed.
Before I break it down, what were your thoughts on the first match?
I thoroughly enjoyed it, and for not to be on the main card, granted, it's fun to be able to make fun of Noah because of it, but it was kind of disappointing the fact that it wasn't on the main card, because usually we get a five match card on here, and it would put it right at about the 10 o'clock mark that the show would have ended anyway. So
when was the last time TakeOver had only 4 matches on it?
I've never seen one with just 4 matches.
Never.
I don't remember.
But with the magnitude of the War Games matches, the amount of time it probably would have taken to.
I think last year's War Games was 4 matches.
Yeah, well, because you have like the whole entrances of each of them, kind of like Royal Rumble. They have to have like a smaller card just to do that. But even then, they extended it a couple hours. But regardless, I was hooked on this match. I was watching move for move because Swerve Scott and Angel Garza are both extremely talented wrestlers. And then there wasn't a feeling of urgency, but you did kind of feel that one to be a number one contender. And spoiler alert, Garza wins, but as he's making his way back on a WWE.com exclusive, Lio Rush met him backstage and punched him in the head and knocked him out. So that set up for that next match right there. We'll probably get that on NXT television. And
Pretty much.
And it'll be another cruiserweight title match, maybe even a ladder match.
Try to be non-title to see if he can qualify for a cruiserweight title match. I don't think Leo's gonna let his ego go like, oh, you want to face me again? You want to face champion? I don't think he's gonna put the title on the line that quick. But we'll see.
You thinking probably a battle royal or possibly a 3 or 4-way match on NXT television?
Potentially. They got a lot of TV time still to build for, and we have no idea what's next for the cruiserweight division.
Break it down for us, Stefan.
I just want to say, Angel Garza is about the prince of the handspring.
Yes.
I have 2 moves here. The first one is my first note. He does a handspring into the ropes, over the ropes, comes down onto Swerve on the outside and hits a Hurricane Rana.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't understand what I just said, then you're just going to have to watch it. Seriously.
Chaining moves together, okay?
I think Swerve comes off the top rope with a cross body. Garza rolls through it and then rolls into, I think, a fallout slam, or a fallout, fall away slam into the buckles. And then turns around and hits a sweet super kick for a near fall. And then kicks Swerve's legs out from under him in the corner where he's sitting up on the top turnbuckle. And then he doesn't go for like a kick or anything. Like, he goes for a drop kick, and maybe he was going for the midsection, but he hits awful low. Like, he hits the tops of the thighs, and even Morrow, I think, says, or it might have been Nigel, says he hit him in the huevos.
Yep.
And I'm like, obviously that wasn't a drop kick to the balls. Yes,
No.
huevos are the eggs between your legs.
I'm not gonna translate.
If he'd have hit the drop kick to the dick, then I think he would have been disqualified.
A drop kick to the dick.
In this case, he wasn't disqualified. Okay, here's the other handspring move I've got. He handsprings through a back body drop attempt, off of the ropes, back down to his feet, and then hits out a pulling sit-out power bomb. And the whole time he's doing it, it looks like he's about to fail. Like, it looks like he's about to botch this move, but he executes it imperfectly. Still gets a near fall, but it was still cool looking through the whole thing. It looked natural, like he just figured this out. He hits Swerve hits a DVD, a Death Valley driver, onto the apron onto Garza, and then a double stomp coming off the apron onto his chest. Throws him back in the ring, and then hits his house call, that 6 side kick to the side of Garza's head. And this is where we thought he was going to win.
Yeah.
Swerve pins him, and he should have gotten a 3 count, but somehow Garza kicks out. After all of that, he kicks out.
And you're like, how's this match going to end?
Ends up running, Garza runs Swerve into the corner, into the ref. And then as he's backing out, he goes to hit a dick kick. And the ref turns around and sees it. Not that it matters, he just put 2 feet into his balls not 3 minutes ago in the corner, apparently. When the commentary can see it, surely the ref should have seen it. Anyway, he blocks the nut shot, goes for a kick, but then Garza blocks the kick and then hits one of his own with his knee, and then hits that wing clipper.
Yep.
And I thought, okay, this is where Swerve kicks out of his finishing move. Nope. 1, 2, 3. Angel Garza gets the win. And I guess this is okay because he's been having this build, all of these wins, and the only one he lost was against Lio Rush. And it was sort of kind of fuckery because for a brief second he had his foot on the ropes at the 2 count, but the ref didn't see it. So this continues that storyline.
That could be why they had the match, just to justify the rematch for that too. So
whatever you want to call it.
Build some momentum. And again, the wing clipper, the only person to kick out of the wing clipper so far is Leo Rush. So as soon as
Yeah.
the wing clipper, I knew Garza won it. By the way, boy, did his pants speak out this match.
Oh God, I could hear good brother Chris say, the pants, the pants, the pants.
That was a sick super kick he nailed on Swerve right after he got the pants thrown at him. Though that was just perfect.
Yeah.
So what a way to pre-start the show.
Oh yeah.
We start the show with the Women's War Games match, and the story up till now is that in the back, somebody attacked Mia Yim. And it's so bad that she's being attended to on the floor back there, and we go through this entire match, and then they cut back to it, and Mia Yim's still on the floor. They're just now helping her up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wow. She must have been really hurt. I mean, they couldn't have got her a stretcher if they couldn't have helped. Oh, Jesus.
What I really liked about the whole thing was that they failed to ever ask Mia Yim who attacked her.
Yeah, as they're loading her into the ambulance and Dakota Kai's getting ready to go with her, Rhea Ripley stops her and says, "You're in now.
Yep.
We need a fourth person. You're it, and come on." And she tries to beg off and go with her, but she gets drug into the match.
Mm-hmm.
And this comes into play later. Obviously.
Oh yeah.
Obviously.
Oh.
So they do something.
Did I not say it? Did I not say it? Hashtag, oh no, screw it. Fuck it. Spoiler alert! Go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah.
So they do something odd here when they bring the women out. They stagger the babyface and the heel entrances. So first we get Rhea Ripley, then Bianca Belair, then Candice LeRae, then Kaylee Ray, and then Tegan Nox, then Io Shirai, then Dakota Kai, then Shayna Baszler. I don't know why you couldn't have just had the babyfaces. God.
They all had to have their separate entrances.
No, well, yeah, sure. But why did you stagger? Why? You didn't do that with the men because all of Undisputed Era come out together.
Yeah.
They're a union, to be fair. Team Rhea is just a bunch of women, and Team Shayna is a bunch of women too. They're not like their horsewomen. I mean, it's different. Cohesive unit versus thrown together for a common cause.
Yeah.
I just think this was incredibly dumb.
I liked it.
You like everything, Jerry. No.
Anytime I hear Io Shirai's music, I'm fine with it.
Pretty much.
All right.
Yeah.
I'd be remiss if I didn't let the female in the panel review the first ever Women's War Games match first.
Yes.
Your thoughts, Cindy?
Okay.
Take it a long sip, Cindy.
Alright, so when I found out about the women's match being the opening of this pay-per-view, I was having a little bit of mixed feelings because I'd rather have the Women's War Games match be main eventing the pay-per-view because it has much more of a build-up leading up to War Games, and it shows like pretty much a compelling storyline while multitasking with this whole like Survivor Series angle. But I can understand why WWE is doing it because they just want to throw in some shock factor to it. Now with the opening of the match, it was a pretty decent match, especially it was really incredible, like fantastic. I was so surprised the fact that when Mia got attacked and then Rhea asked Dakota to be, "Oh, you're in." I was like, okay, we're going to see some surprises, or we're going to see a heel turn, but nope, up until Dakota was up next, and then all of a sudden she attacked Tegan Nox, and I was like, what in the flying fuck is going on? So I was like, god dang, never seen that aggressive side to Dakota though. And so I was like very curious, like, are we gonna get like a replacement, or we're just gonna leave just Rhea and LeRae all together? But all I can say is having Rhea and Candice versus Shayna, Io, Bianca, and Kaylee Ray.
Yeah.
That was fucking fantastic altogether, especially putting up a really high caliber of this match too. Like there's like a lot of weapons flying out, like trash bag, trash cans to kendo stick to chairs. Even that one part where Kaylee Ray was teasing to bring out a table, but nope. Underneath the ring, and that's what everybody was pulling the crap out of her. I was like, okay. That is one cool thing about Kaylee Ray though, even though there's some that are like still not familiar with her. For those that have even watched the NXT UK brand, whatever. But overall, it was fucking fantastic. Like, I would say Rhea and Candice are the real MVP of the night.
Damn right.
Let's see,
That's
Noah.
just me.
Noah, your thoughts and opinions on said match?
So it's history, right? And here on Fan War Games was truly built around the women, and I thought this was going to close. But based on the angle they did on the pre-show, I'm like, okay, now I get what you're opening this. And I said it on predictions. It all made sense that Kai was going to turn heel because, truthfully, what else could she do? You see how she's been she's been taken advantage of as Shayna Baszler. But damn, did she take it to level 7, destroying Tegan's legs, not letting thing up, and even at one point, Rigo, who came out like he was going to kill her, even going to the match, Rigo was like, fuck you! And then we go into the match, it's literally 2-on-4, I'm like, there's no way in hell they're actually going to win this. But, since it's Canada's wrestling, Canada's hardcore, simple as that, and then spots with the freaking avalanche poison Rana, and then the handcuffs that we have broke. I was like, oh, handcuffs, this is it. Shayna's got this in the back. Shayna coming in all cool and collective. And then they brought everything out, and multiple people like, oh, you want table? Not going to happen. But I thought this was a really fun, wild match, and now the most thing I'm curious about is what's next with Dakota Kai?
And,
I love it, though.
And if they're going to change her current theme music.
In NXT, if you go heel, everything changes about you. Prime example, Io Shirai.
Yep.
Evan, your thoughts on this match? Oh man, I thought this was personally, I thought this was a perfect opener, honestly. Basically, with what they said also, with what played into the pre-show, what went into that, and then also what kind of went into the main event and the magnitude of that, it kind of explains why it opened up a little bit. I think this sets up a lot of great things going into, the future episodes, but this match right here, man, it was fun as hell. It got unpredictable. I love the fact that I love Dakota Kai's attack too. I loved her turn, the intensity that she showed, everything, and nobody thought that she had that kind of magnitude of attack. And I don't know what the guy's name is, Sam Roberts, or what is that the guy's name?
Yeah, Sam Roberts.
Yep.
When he said that, when he was saying what he said about Dakota Kai, I was like, ooh.
And the crowd
I felt like something. Yeah, I felt like that was gonna play in, and it did. You know what I mean? That could have been like a tipping point there too. Right beforehand. That could be something they could play into too. His words, exactly where that's the bottom of the barrel pick. Well, she shows you what the bottom of the barrel can do.
Well, because that was right before she attacked Mia Yim backstage.
Yep. Sam Roberts missed place.
Yeah. It was an excellent match though. Great opener, very fun. I have no issues with it, and it really put Rhea Ripley over heavy, and that's what I was
great too.
Yeah,
not that she needed it, but yeah,
most definitely.
Chris, your thoughts?
This was actually probably got to be easily one of the top 5 War Games matches I've ever seen. The way they did this match, the storytelling they did, making the scenario against all odds, having it be 4-on-2, the turn was well done. You knew it's one of those things to me. Okay, it's going to come. You just had that feeling it's going to come, but how they did it, I thought was fucking badass. They showed that vicious side of Dakota Kai that I wasn't even expecting out of her. Having it be 4-on-2, you're thinking, there's no way in fucking hell Ripley and Kansas are fucked. But no, they fucking pulled that shit off. And Ripley hitting that riptide on those fucking chairs on Baszler, I'm telling you what, they better set up Ripley versus Baszler for TakeOver come WrestleMania weekend. That will be the time to set that fucking match up for the NXT Women's title.
That was great. Announcement. Also, handcuffs, by the way, because he did that. Everyone handcuffs on it.
Badass.
Your thoughts on the Women's War Games, Jerry?
There's so much awesome in this match, it was frightening. Like, right from the get-go, you had Candice LeRae and Io Shirai start off the match. And that's something we haven't discussed yet. Their rivalry actually started in a cage, and theoretically kind of ended tonight in a cage. Because I think their feud is pretty much done now after this War Games. They're off to do bigger fish at this point. If anything, I see Shirai and Kai actually teaming up at some point.
Kai and Shirai.
Kai and Shirai, because it rhymes. It just works. And Bianca Belair came in like a house of fire. She just destroyed everything in sight and was just fantastic. Because she nailed, what was it, that awesome, she nailed that awesome running shooting star press that she does. Between her and her husband, dude, I don't know who I get impressed more, like, on a daily basis. Either her and Montez Ford. Anytime I see them, they get better in the ring. It's insane. And then the heel turn, kind of saw it coming, especially after, like, Rhea Ripley went in second, and you saw Dakota Kai coming out coming out third. There was that momentary pause, like, this is where it's happening. But something I thought that was going to occur in this match that I would have hated, so I'm glad it didn't happen, was Toni Storm being thrown into it. Since she was on SmackDown a couple nights prior. Yeah, I see you shaking your head, Chris Mace.
Last night. She was on it last night.
And I thought
You thought it was time.
I thought Regal was gonna come out and say, it's like, oh, you wanna play like that? Fine, bring her out, and then just have Toni Storm come out and just be in the match with them. But we didn't get that. But this also made Rhea Ripley and Candice LeRae look that much stronger in the match. The fact that they warded off the other four, got the W. Awesome spots everywhere in this match, and Shirai's moonsault off the top of the cage. That's gonna be like featured on every NXT video compilation or opening theme from here on in.
I knew she had to do that. If anyone was going to do something off the top in the women's cage match, it had to be Io Shirai. And she literally did on the brain of Bianca Belair, taking out both women and herself.
And the whole table spot with Kaylee Ray, it had to be done because everybody else had something special about them in this match. Kaylee Ray was the only one that kind of felt like kind of just thrown in there and kind of bland. But so she had to get some sort of heel heat in some way, shape, or form. So the best thing that she could do is really, like, since everybody's chanting for a table, pull out a table and then just shove it back under the
Rhea
ring.
comes out, she goes and gets trash cans and trash can lids and even kendo sticks. But the crowd wants tables and they're vocal about it. And so she goes under the ring one more time. And what does she grab? Chairs.
Yep.
Throws them in the ring. And so the crowd's disappointed. So when Kaylee Ray comes out, she goes like she's going to go get a table. And the crowd cheers. And she's like, nah, and throws it back and gets in the...
Perfect heel heat. She went by opportunity there, and it was great.
Yeah. Listening to the crowd, controlling the crowd. That is Shawn Michaels type of creative storytelling right there.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's all about the story. And you know this. You know this. And it started before the match. It went into the match. Big storylines in the match. Just the little stuff like Kaylee Ray improvising shit. This was almost a perfect match.
Yeah.
And the reason I say almost is because I have one huge beef with this match. Why was this not the main event of the show?
Exactly.
Not only was this the best match on the show, bar fucking none. This was this was an NXT takeover. All the matches were great.
Yeah.
But this was the best match on the show. But this undermined the main event because the big spot in the main event was who was going to be the fourth member of Team Ciampa.
Yeah.
Because the refs didn't get in the ring after Cole got in. He was the number 7. And they're like, we're going to give it 3 minutes and see if somebody comes out because nobody was put in the cage.
Yep.
Right.
So they were holding this off, and I'm like, what does it matter? It's 3-on-4. We just saw Rhea Ripley's team win 2-on-4.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter who the fourth person is. It could be nobody. Who gives a fuck? Team Ciampa can still win.
Yep.
So it totally undermines that storyline, and that was the big thing. That was the reason probably that the men's match went on last is because Kevin Owens was going to join. I think that's forgettable enough by the time the main event comes around to watch the story that they told, especially with Dakota Kai turning and then being down 2 people. And it affected me emotionally. That awkward
he sat here awkwardly and I asked him.
It was so uncomfortable because you're watching a 2-on-1 beatdown in 2 separate rings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're
hearing Tegan Knox scream as Kai slamming that cage door in her leg. Figure 4 locking her legs between the cage. Damn, Kai! Damn!
And he even told me, he's like, I bet you wish we saw Tony Storm now, don't you? And it's like, anybody. They could send Taynara out there. They could send fucking anybody out.
When you get emotionally invested into a match like that, you know you've got something special. And with the sheer brutality and the emotional aspect of this match, yes, it should have been main event.
Honestly, I would have been fine if Nikki Cross came out with her past issue with Shayna Baszler. But this match was brilliant the way it was executed. And Rhea Ripley, she was the best character, so did you not see her face after Kai did that attack?
Yes.
She was apoplectic.
Yeah, she was like, oh, cool. And then, like, once she is up, she's like, okay, cool. I'm taking my sweet-ass time just to walk in the ring while let them do the rest.
The crazy thing about it, though, is that, like, the angle makes Dakota one of the top heels already, because once this is all said and done, she has beef with, like, 3-4 females already. You got Mia Yim, who she probably more than likely attacked.
Yep.
You have Tegan Knox. And you also have a Rhea Ripley, you know, a thing that could happen too. You know, she would trade a lot of people on that team. So a lot of feuds can be sown, you know, because of this. So very, very good writing, very good story told.
And don't leave out Candice LeRae, because Team Kick and LeRae, they were really like a trio.
Yeah, it's true too. Yeah.
Now I've got like a half a page of notes for this match, like literally.
Yeah.
Break them down.
And I write small. I wasn't gonna, but some of these need to be highlighted, so I'll go through.
This match is worth every single bit of description you can tell us. Characters, match, spot,
as Jerry said,
overall takeaways, everything. I don't care how long we go with this match. This match was worth the show overall in itself.
So Io Shirai and Candice LeRae start this match, and my first spot here was just beautiful. Candice goes to do a suicide dive through both sets of ropes from ring to ring.
Yep.
And Io Shirai catches her, I think, with a kick. And then she goes down in between the ropes, onto the middle rope, and sets Io Shirai perfect up for doing a 619 one-way, which dazes her, and she goes over the other ropes, and she hits from the other ring a 619 the other way. It was great, to the back of the head.
And then the double knees right between.
And then sets her up against the two posts that are met between the rings, and does the running double knees into her. Yeah, I've got that note too. Let's see, Belair comes in next, has that double chicken throw through, I think she does it into a garbage now, it's later. Anyway, where was it? A running, yeah, that's where she does the double chicken throw and the running shooting star press that Jerry mentioned. And then does triple power bombs.
Yeah.
Onto LeRae. Third power bomb, she goes into the cage.
Those are Brock Lesnar beast styles, like power bomb that she was doing.
That was like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn back at NXT Rival, where he powerbombed to the point the ref had to call KO.
Yep.
So then she picks up Candice LeRae and holds her while Io runs off of the rope 7 times, getting speed for a basement drop kick to the side of the head. Like, that was just...
The anticipation behind that drop kick was insane. I didn't think she was going to stop running. That's going to be a new gif. It's just going to be Io Shirai just bouncing off the ropes.
So Ripley comes down next, and she's taken time to throw some garbage cans in the ring, which brings Bianca Belair to the door, and she just slams the door in Bianca Belair's face, which now gives her more time to bring in more trash cans, kendo sticks, and some chairs, and disappoint the crowd.
We want a table.
And then does a faceplant suplex into Belair through the chairs, but Io saves her. And Kaylee Ray comes in next, where she feigns going for the table, pisses off the crowd. Well, then she gets back in the ring, and these chairs are set up, 4 of them, to have a bed, to suplex somebody through it. Well, she takes her time to break down each chair one by one and piss off the crowd even more.
Yep.
But this comes into play because they end up doing a Tower of Doom spot onto all of the chairs, and then Bianca Belair comes off the top rope with a 450 splash that I blinked and missed.
Oh, she smacked her head on one of the chairs when she's coming down too, but at the same time.
Thanks, Jerry. Yep.
And if all of this wasn't crazy enough, it's now Dakota Kai's turn to come out, and instead of coming out, she turns around and kicks Tegan Nox in the face into the cage, and then just starts slamming her into the cage, knocks her down, starts beating on her leg, then pulls her leg, or well, her legs like chicken wing, like wishbone through the door, the door frame.
Yeah.
And then starts slamming the door onto her shit knee. Well, I guess both of her knees are shit, but one of her shit knees. And then proceeds to tear off the knee brace. And then this is when William Regal comes out and she pushes him off like she's gonna get fined, kind of pushing him away.
I also liked how emotionally distraught Rhea Ripley looked watching all this happen too. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Stop dead in the ring.
Yeah.
So now when it's time for Baszler to come out, it's still been a 3-on-2 attack, and she is just strolling to the ring because she doesn't need to come in. I thought maybe she was going to get attacked from behind.
Shayna's clapping at as Dakota Kai goes back, and then she's just like.
This is where we see the end of the match, where Candice LeRae hits a poison Rana off of the top. Like, she's hanging on to the top of the cage, and who was it? Was it Bianca Belair?
Mm-hmm.
Was standing on the top rope. And then Io Shirai, who had climbed to the top of the cage, centers herself and does a moonsault onto both of them, and now they are all three done with the match. Meanwhile, in the other ring, Ripley ends up handcuffing herself to Shayna Baszler because Baszler gets her in the Baszler lock. And then she counters that, so Baszler goes for the Baszler lock with her less dominant arm. And that's where she's able to grab the handcuffs that they had put on her earlier, trying to handcuff her to the middle rope. And she handcuffs her to the proper hand on Baszler. I'm so glad she got the proper one. This could have been really awkward.
Yeah.
So that when they started trading blows, Baszler gets her on her knee and then goes to kick her in the head. She ducks and puts her in the perfect position for the riptide. Mm-hmm. And she's already set up 2 chairs. Because after she set those up, here comes Kaylee Ray, the last person to the rescue. She swats her out of mid-air with a trash can. Just wham, done for the rest of the match. Riptide onto the chairs because Baszler can't wiggle out. She's handcuffed to her. 1, 2, 3. Once she moves the chair out from under Baszler's back, Rhea Ripley and Candice LeRae defeat them 4-on-2. Wow.
That match was nothing but spots is what it was, man. It was just beautiful.
So, before we review the rest of the show, I'm going to do something unprecedented because it's my show. I'm the host, the Rated R Reviewer. I say we rate this match as the main event.
Yes, because we're pretty much all in agreement at this point that this should have been the main event, correct?
Yeah.
The men's War Games match was great.
Yeah.
But this was greater.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with the Duchess, Cindy G. Out of 5 stars, where do you rate this main event?
Oh my god. Well, from start to finish, all the surprising moments. I mean, I expressed it enough on Twitter. So for this match, well, me and my mini Candice LeRae micro brawler right here, we give it a 4.5 out of 5.
That seems low. I'm just saying. Noah Foster, where do you rate the main event?
Mama fucking mia. What a story, what a match. From the opening, like you said, with Io and Candice, to the spot Bianca Belair showcase her power, to the overall turn and just distraughtment in Rhea's eyes after Kai's attacks, to the anger unleashed by the audience and the narration by Marvinell, who I thought was going to lose his voice during this. Mm-hmm. And then the other spots that entailed later on, where the freaking kendo stick and hair whip came into play, loud as hell. Freaking Tower of Doom, Rana, the handcuff. Kaylee Ray, and she played to the crowd to best interest, but, and again, Candice LeRae, the strongest she's probably been in NXT. I can only imagine what's next for her. Rhea Ripley's got to be next for a title match. Incredible story. I am wanting more from all of these women, and I can't wait to see what's next for Kai and how they redesign her. Absolutely fucking love this match. Besides the spot, I thought it was, pretty quiet. It is a 4 3/4 for me.
All right, Evan.
Man, like I said before, perfect match almost. It was great. It really wasn't really missing anything. I can't really put my finger on why I can't give it the 5, but it wasn't like it was missing anything. But I don't know. I want to go ahead and give it like Noah said, 4 3/4, because it really wasn't missing anything from the drama to the they paid attention to everything. Somebody pointed out at the beginning, Candice and Io, how they started the feud, in a cage, and now it's ending in a War Games cage. And everything, attention to detail to the Dakota thing, it wasn't really lacking. So 4 3/4. I'll give it as close to a 5 as possible.
Chris?
That's right.
I'm going to give it a 5, and I'm going to tell you why. Because in the history of War Games, from 1986 all the way, 1987 all the way till 2019, it's always had the basic storytelling with War Games. All right, always 90% of the time the heels have the advantage. It goes back and forth. Everything goes with it, every way it does. This match was different. When they did that 4-on-2 disadvantage, it made it a completely different scenario, something you've never seen in War Games before. And this being the first women's match in history, you've had a lot of the women doing a lot of first this, first that, first this, first this, first that. By far, this has to be the best for the first that the women wrestlers have done. And so in my opinion with that, and how well they did this with all the storytelling, and just the fact that the storytelling and the drama it was with the 4-on-2 disadvantage, I will have to give it a 5. This, like I said, it's got to be in at least my top 5 of my favorite War Games I've seen. And this is the 34th and 35th War Games we've had in the history of wrestling with NWA, WCW, and NXT.
Wow.
What he said. I'm not even going to waste the air on this one. He said everything I would have said. They've said everything too, but I'm going to give it a 5 because everything about this match, and granted, I already cared about the match, which was awesome because they've actually done a really good job building it up. Kaylee Ray finally actually finding her spot in the match because she, like everybody else, seemed like they already had their own feud set. Even Mia Yim had her beef with Bianca Belair and everything before she got taken out. So even if Mia Yim had been still included into the match, and maybe Tegan got taken out, whatever. But for this, we get a whole bunch more storylines. We have #1 contender spots. We have all sorts of different shit going on. And the match itself, like I said, was a highlight reel. So 5. Easily 5 for me.
Yeah, the match itself was easily 5.
Yeah.
5 stars, and I'm going to give it an extra quarter star. I know we haven't reviewed the rest of it, but off the back of the rest of this show, I'm known to do that. This was a great show. It's just a shame that this match went on first and not last, but whatever. I'm also going to give it a quarter of a star off of the storyline where Dakota Kai turned heel, and the fact that the 4-on-2 beatdown made me uneasy.
Yes.
Like, it made me feel something I haven't felt in a while.
You don't get that on main brand television.
No, you don't.
That's so true.
I'm going to give this 5.5 stars.
Wow.
I know it sounds like some Meltzer bullshit, but we make the rules, we can break the rules.
You on some Meltzer shit, man.
That's got to probably be his highest rated match ever.
Yeah, this is the highest
Yeah.
I've given matches 5 1/4 before.
Yeah.
Some great actual main
5.5?
events, but 5.5 easy. Like, I just don't dare go any higher than that. I might. But if I did go higher, I would bring it down by the fact that, again, it wasn't the actual main event. We're just treating it like it is because it really deserves to be. Anyway, after spending 20 minutes on that, it's time to move on to the rest of the show.
Support, no DQ.
Before we talk about the next match, first of all, they show Walter, Marcel Bartel, and Fabian Eichner in the crowd. And this makes us wonder because we got an announcement that the 4th spot for the men's NXT War Games match was going to be there. Like, Ciampa reached out to somebody, and they didn't say whether they were going to be in the team or not, but they were at the show. That's all we know. So now it's like, oh, could it be Walter? He's fucking right there. But we'll never know. But again, before we talk about the next match, we just found out the 4 other members of NXT's female 5-on-5-on-5 traditional War Games match. And that is Rhea Ripley, and of course, and
Candice LeRae.
Candice LeRae, obviously. Then we've got Io Shirai and Bianca Belair from the other team. Sure, why not? And member number 5,
Chris Mace's favorite wrestler.
Shiny.
It's Tony
Fuck
time.
that shit.
Tony Storm.
Tony Storm.
She better get pinned first in the match and be in there for 2 minutes, and I'll be happy. That worked for me.
Well, she is my sole survivor, so you never know.
Hey, I'm just glad Candice LeRae is part of the team. That's all I gotta
If
say.
she ends up being the sole survivor, I'll get on video and do a bunch of cartwheels. I highly doubt she's going to be the sole survivor. I'll tell you that now.
Alright, so up next, we've got a triple threat match for the number 1 contendership for the NXT title. Damian Priest versus Killian Dane versus Pete Dunne.
Mm-hmm.
And most everybody had Pete Dunne.
Except for Jerry.
Except for me and Jerry. I had Damian Priest, I thought. Why not?
I had Killian Dane, and he kind of helped win.
Because why not, right?
Yeah.
This match was really good. This was a great match, honestly. Of the 4 matches tonight, obviously we put the Women's War Games match up top. This match was not the worst. I actually think Matt Riddle versus Finn Balor, spoiler alert, would be like the worst match of the night. It's not to say it was bad, it was still great.
Yeah.
But who'd have thunk it? I thought that was going to be the show stealer.
Yeah.
And, you know, outside of War Games, because War Games steals the show in itself.
Mm-hmm.
If you do it right, I mean, you got a double cage, double rings, like,
So many potentials for spots, and yeah, there's really no beating a War Games match.
But outside of that, outside of a cage, this was the match of the night. Like, I got a ton of notes for this one, too. Before I break them down, let's go with Chris first. What do you think about this match?
I thought at first, I was like, boy, they're going to have hard work to follow up that War Games match we just saw. But they delivered. This match was incredible start to finish, and I think the ending was surprisingly well done, something different, and it really surprised me how the ending happened. But I was really surprised how well this fucking match was, especially right after the War Games match. I was thinking they were going to, crowd wasn't going to be into it. They were into it the whole freaking time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that ending seemed like just happenstance.
Mm-hmm.
Like 3 warriors going at it, none of them is going to get pinned because they all keep kicking out of each other's finishing moves, or they get interrupted.
Mm-hmm.
And that the ending was just happenstance. It just happened that they were laid out in a way that secured a pinfall before. Well, anyway, let's move on to Cindy. What do you think about this next match?
At first, I was having a bit of concern that how they're gonna put out this match since we're coming up after an incredible War Games match. Like, oh, the triple threat match is gonna be one of those cool down match. Oh, they proved everybody wrong, and it was freaking amazing as always. I like how Damian Priest wore the vest in kind of like a tribute to Razor Ramon, especially at that one point he did the Razor's Edge, I believe, to Pete Dunne. Yeah, almost to the...
His whole outfit was a tribute to the Outsiders because he had the blood on the vest of the pants, only in silver, but he also had the fringe down the sides of the legs, like big sexy.
Yep, big sexy.
Indeed, and that was like kind of like, you know, a pretty nice tribute to him and for that. But overall, it was a pretty incredible match, though. I mean, as we all did say, except for you, Stefan and Jerry, that we all picked Pete Dunne for the reasoning. I mean, everybody knows who he is. He was the longest reigning WWE UK champion, and you need to have someone that is like pretty much like recognizable, especially for like competing on one of the big major 4 pay-per-view tomorrow.
Well, let's get it right. He was the longest reigning champion in WWE in recent memory.
Yeah.
Yep.
I must be
number 6 all time in the longest reigns of any championship in WWE history. He's number 6 all time.
Indeed. So I'm very curious, like till now, that how Pete Dunne will do against Adam Cole, baby, tomorrow.
If Adam Cole's awake.
Noah, your thoughts?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What'd you think about the match, Noah?
Yeah, y'all broke up a little bit. I wasn't sure because I heard. Okay, so my thoughts. Damn, this match was literally a match that not only seemed like it was, but it showcased it. Endurance. You saw at some points these men were so fatigued with each other. They just pull moves and chain combos of kicks, headbutts, and suplexes out of nowhere, and some of the falls were inadvertently broken up. I loved everything about this match, and I thought, good God, how's this going to end? Are we going to get some surprise roll-up? Is one person just going to go in after the other two kill each other? No, it was an inadvertent move to break another move that allowed for another person to pick up the finish. I love everything about this. It was brilliant.
Evan?
Oh, it was a fun match. It was really good. I thought that from the get-go, the story was you had Killian Dane, who's just a rampaging monster. You had this guy Damian Priest, who's also a big guy but can move around like a cruiserweight. And Pete Dunne was at a disadvantage going both ways, and he had to figure out a way to find a victory in this one and earn a hard-fought one. And it was good, man. It made everybody look good. That's what I feel like a good wrestling match is when there isn't a guy who looks like overly weak. Like Killian Dane made a good showing for himself. Damian Priest looked really, really good, especially with that razor's edge to Killian Dane. That showed off his power. And then Pete Dunne at the end having to outsmart the two bigger men. And like you said, like a mouse in the hole, he got the cheese, he got that. he was out. So great match. Everybody won in this one, and I'm excited to see him and Adam Cole get it on tomorrow. It's gonna be good.
Jerry?
If NXT's proven anything to me over the past couple months, is that they are the king of triple threat matches. Like the one we saw in Toronto was good. This one was fucking great. There was no slowing down. The match was even more brutal, and it all seemed like Dunne had actually learned from his mistakes from the last triple threat match he was in. He had to be there at the right place at the right time, like the human chess that usually plays with people. For all we know, he was playing on Killian Dane going for that senton, and that's why he hooked onto the sleeper hold, because he knew if he hit with enough force that Killian Dane would let go long enough that he could get the pinfall on Damian Priest.
And even still, if he didn't let go, it wouldn't matter because Dunne would be the person on top of Priest.
Yeah, he would be on top of him.
And if he had Dane in his clutches, that'd be even more weight.
Yeah, you'd just be weighing him
Priest
down
from kicking out. So yeah, I mean, it was a finish of happenstance.
It was brilliantly crafted. There was really no botches in the match. Everything just looked perfect, and it was Damian Priest's first takeover, and he just killed it. He knocked it out of the park. He really did.
This was Damian Priest's first takeover under this incarnation of his character. Let's not forget, he was a showcase in the North American ladder match, Six Men. But yeah, as far as this character goes, this was brilliant showing for Killian Dane. At one point, I felt like it was a handicap match between him.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody asked, how do you follow up that women's War Games match? And I say, with a spot fest. And the brilliant thing about a triple threat match is you can work around having somebody resting for a minute because the other two guys are still working. And this doesn't have to slow down. And then there's times where they're all good and rested, and they're just doing these triple moves, like kicking each other, but just going around in a circle. And then at one point, I saw a triple kick where they all dropped each other.
Yeah, it's pretty much like a triple drop kick kind of thing.
Everybody went for a different kick on a different guy, and they all ended up on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
My first note here was, okay, so this was like in the first minute of the match. We saw Killian Dane hit a Michinoku driver on Dunne, but he did it across Damian Priest's head.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, if that's how this match is going to be. And yeah, that's how brutal this match was going to become. We see Dane outside just showing off his power. He picks up, I think it is Dunne, on his back. No, Priest on his back for a Samoan drop, and then Dunne runs up to him, and he grabs him mid-cross body. Hits a fall-away slam on him during the Samoan drop. That was nuts.
Yeah.
Let's see. Inside, we had the triple breakdown, and then Priest hits a broken arrow onto Dunne across Dane, and then a South of Heaven chokeslam for a near fall.
We saw a lot of assisted sentons in this match.
Assisted a lot of stuff, okay?
Yeah.
At one point, it was Dane and Priest working against Dunne. Then it became one-on-one with them. and then freaking Dunn and Priest were going up against Dane. There were so many different dynamics in this match.
We saw Dunn go across one of the announcers' desk, courtesy of a razor's edge from Damian Priest. And then Dane hits him with the Suicida and then runs through him and the barricade, and now everybody's down. So this is where everybody's taking a rest. And then I have, even more notes. This is where we saw Priest hit the razor's edge on Killian Dane, like he picks him up off of the corner. That's the only way he could lift him for that, I guess. And then Dunn breaks up the pin, and then Priest does a run and leaps over the top rope onto Dane on the outside, and then they get back up, and Dunn comes off the top rope with a moonsault to the outside and takes them both down. Throws him back in the ring. We see Dane with a Michinoku driver onto Priest for a near fall, and then puts Dunn in the Tree of Woe, and then throws Damian Priest up against him, sitting in the corner, and then does a running cannonball into both of them. So he then hits a Vader bomb onto Damian Priest, but Pete Dunne interrupts the pin, and then hits a bitter end onto Dane, and the pin is interrupted by Damian Priest. Then Priest hits a Frankensteiner onto Dunn, who gets thrown into Dane, and hits 2 Cyclone kicks, one onto each of them, and then hits a Reckoning onto Dunn. Dane breaks up the pinfall. Like, he just falls, like he's stunned, so he falls back on him. So Priest would have gotten the win if it hadn't been for happenstance.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, Dunn hits a bitter end on a Damian Priest, and then Dane hits a senton to break up the pin, but then Dunn gets on the back of Killian Dane, and is putting on a sleeper hold, but then Priest is on the mat, so Dane runs and does his senton onto Priest, and then rolls away, but he leaves Pete Dunne on top of Priest, who's just there lifeless getting the pin. 1, 2, 3.
You see Dane try to grab for Dunn's leg at the last second.
He realizes after 1 or 2 rolls that something's wrong, and he goes back to break it up, and he's just too late.
Yep.
Off of that sleeper, he was too tired. So that brings us to Matt Riddle and Finn Balor. And I was underwhelmed. Not that it wasn't a really good, if not great match,
I think it may have been exhausting. Because at that point, it's like we both got up and got another bowl of chili and sat down and just kind of waited and just kind of watched the match. And there wasn't really a lot to take note-wise on this one. Not a lot noteworthy. We saw pretty much the same stuff out of Matt Riddle, the same stuff out of Finn Balor, but just a little bit more viciousness behind the stuff that Finn Balor is doing, just for him going back to his old Prince Devitt kind of persona. A lot more intense, a lot more focused on the actual match itself. So Riddle's family was in the audience, and then we also got to see Riddle's what you might call a tribute to Goldberg in it as well. So
yeah, that was fun. I had fun with this match, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Evan, where do you stand on this match?
I'm probably gonna be in the minority. I liked it. It was fine. It was fine.
I'm not saying we didn't like it. I was just saying, like, on the rest of this card, we probably have to say that was the lesser match out of the entire night.
I could roll with that.
Yeah.
I could roll with that. It was still a good match, but on the card for which it was on, it would be on the lowest tier. I like the aggression from Finn. It kind of harkens back to, like you said, his Prince Devitt days. I'm really a big fan of the Japanese pro wrestling scene and all that, so I'm huge on that. Yeah, so I really followed his whole evolution, and so him going back and getting some of that aggression and just the small things that I saw him do. I'm very encouraged for what his future in NXT is. As far as Riddle goes, Riddle to me is going to be, if he's there for a while, he'll be NXT champion sooner or later. He's got all the tools. It's unfortunate that he had to be the first guy for Finn, because I could see him doing other things, more important things. But hey, man, that's how the dice roll. I like the match. it's not going to be something we talk about months from now. And so I think that's where we're getting at. All these other matches we'll be talking about for a while. Not this one so much. So yeah, for what it was all right, but it wasn't my favorite thing.
Yeah, I think I might be a little bit salty because I'm the only dumbass that picked Riddle to win.
Yeah.
But whatever. Chris, what do you think about this match?
I thought for what it was, I thought out of all the matches we got, this was the weakest match on the whole show. I'm not saying it was a bad match by no means. I do like that Balor as the heel. Like I said, I'm glad he's not doing all the same shit he was on the main roster. He's not doing all the stuff he would as a babyface. He's doing it different. He's being a lot different. He's being that Prince Devitt of old before he came to NXT the first time. Yeah. I do like that, but like I said, the match itself was just like it was good, but it was one of those things you could tell the crowd was out of it, and it was just like, okay. And all I'm saying is when they kept saying Riddle, and then he hit that spear, I was like going, okay. At some point, Goldberg's gonna come out here and just kill Riddle at this point.
That's gonna be tomorrow night Survivor Series. I fucking know it.
But like I said, I mean, I do like the finish of the match. Like I said, it was like I said, it wasn't where he was doing as babyface, where he's hitting the coup de grace. He did something different. Like I said, I'll let you break that down for the notes. But like I said, just all in all, it was all right.
Cindy?
Well, I do like the match, but as a cool down match. I mean, I was trying to pay attention to like if there's any cool moments. I was like, this is just your standard, typical like mid-card type of match. I was like busy like getting my second glass of my homemade margarita, but overall it was a pretty good like different side of Finn Balor as a heel itself, and I knew that he was gonna win this match altogether, but still it was pretty good match, but just for a cool down standpoint too. And I cannot wait to see how NXT is gonna be booking Finn Balor strongly. Regarding with Matt Riddle, I have to agree with you, Evan. I mean, we'll see Matt Riddle in like the NXT titles like in the near future because he has like all the craft that he got though. But as long as like whoever's gonna be the next challenger for Riddle or anything, hey, he's set. Oh yeah.
Noah?
You gotta have a moment. No matter how great a wrestling show is, but you have to like be like, I need to get my voice back, I'm gonna go get a cup of water. I see the match, I'm just gonna watch it, now analyze it, talk to my friend a little bit, and be like, it was okay. You need to have something to give the crowd a little bit of breathing room. So what the match was with this return of heel Balor per se, a reincarnation of the Prince from NJPW, but not fully there yet, it was alright. You had the typical spots, though. You gave the crowd their moments where they got to chant Goldberg and even CM Punk. But you also gave heel Balor the win here. I don't think this really hurts Riddle because there's no doubt in my mind he's still a top tier star in NXT. But this is a good momentum start for what was supposed to be, but it's going to build to Finn Balor versus Johnny Gargano. The match was okay. Glad he won at 1916.
Jerry?
He just said what I was thinking right there at the end with the fact that this was supposed to be Gargano versus Balor. But I'm glad it kind of worked out the way it did because it left the door open for Owens to come back into the fold. So for Matt Riddle to lose to Finn Balor, that's fine. Finn Balor's been in the sport a lot longer than him. He's got the international experience just like Riddle does, but like almost a decade's worth on him at this point. So, and countless IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championships and like a one day Universal title.
Plus,
run.
he's got an 8-1 run at NXT Takeover. 9-1 if you include Takeover UK Takeover Blackpool 1.
Yep.
Which I do.
So you think about that and the fact that Matt Riddle will no doubt be part of the Survivor Series team. I think tomorrow night. I think it's going to set up for a cameo of Goldberg actually spearing and possibly just spearing Matt Riddle on the outside of the ring or something, and that'd be part of the main event of that night. So I can't be angry at this match, but at the same time, it was forgettable. It's not going to lead really into anything. It was just a quick feud just because Johnny Gargano was not there.
It was filler.
Yeah, this was a basic match.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I look through my notes, it's built like a basic match. There was no story told in this.
No.
The only story was the bad blood that they had between them leading up to it, but it really didn't translate into the match. The match was a basic match. It was rest holds and wear down holds for the first half. And then my first note is like halfway through it, Riddle counters a drop kick. Well, Finn Balor's going to go for that drop kick into the corner like he does to set up for the coup de grace. And Riddle counters it with a spear and then hits him with a jackhammer, gets a near fall. So that gets the crowd chanting, Riddle, Riddle. Then Balor counters a Bro Derek with an Eye of the Storm, that move that the Big Show makes look all the more devastating. And then a
I
reverse.
thought the Hurricanes one was actually a lot better because it was so quick.
And then the reverse DDT side slam gets a near fall. And then Riddle hits a bro to sleep, but then goes up top and goes for the floating bro, but catches Finn Balor's knees. So Balor hits a drop kick into the corner, but then misses the coup de grace. And Riddle grabs him up with the bro mission. And he fights off the bro mission, gets to the ropes, and then counters a final flash with the 1916 or 1960 DDT, whatever it is.
1916.
And he gets the pinfall. Like, it is your basic middle of the road match for these two, honestly. But you got to have it because you're about to go into the men's War Games match.
Any other takeover or anything, that probably would have been like the first match on the card. I'm pretty sure.
I was gonna say it would probably did it from opening maybe.
So as
Think
far
about
as
this. Back in NXT TakeOver 25, the opening was Matt Riddle versus Roderick Strong. That match was strongly well received.
Yeah.
well, this would have been okay for a main event on NXT TV, but I don't even think it was good enough for a main event on NXT Live on USA TV. Honestly, this was a basic match.
This would have been this would have been like the where the hour turned into a second hour match. Like it would have been right there in the middle.
So timeline-wise, we are technically on to the main event. This is the men's War Games match. We've got Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, Roderick Strong, and Adam Cole, Team Undisputed Era versus Team Ciampa. That's Tommaso Ciampa, Keith Lee, Dominik Dijakovic, and question mark fill in the blank.
Question mark.
This is where nobody gets in the cage with Dominik Dijakovic and Keith Lee, because Ciampa, when he comes out, just heads straight for the ring.
Yep.
So he is going to be first in the ring, and it was Roderick Strong that volunteers himself to be first for Undisputed Era. So then they trade off, and they trade off all the way up till the end, and then the clock counts down, and then they give us like another 20 or 30 seconds just to hold the drama. Like who cares? 3 on 4?
Yeah.
You can still win 3 on 4. Fucking Rhea Ripley did it basically by her goddamn self.
Yep.
If you can win the match by yourself, you can certainly do it 3 on 4.
Would have existed.
So Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is the 4th member of Team Ciampa. He comes out.
Oh, man.
Old school Kevin Owens.
Oh yeah.
And we should have seen this coming. None of us voted for Kevin Owens. None of us thought of it. We should have seen it coming because he is a main event superstar that after SmackDown, when they attacked him from behind, or maybe it was Raw.
It was Raw.
It was wrong.
Now
It was Raw.
he has beef with Undisputed Era. That's all we needed was somebody with beef, and he has beef because they attacked him.
So Velveteen Dream, but that's what a lot of us were thinking that he
We
was
just
going to
figured
be his return.
Kevin
legitimate
Owens is in the
intro.
5-on-5-on-5, the traditional summer or Survivor Series match tomorrow. So we just figured it wouldn't be anybody from another brand, but sure enough, Kevin Owens.
Correct.
Yeah.
And he made a difference, sure, but in the end, it was Ciampa that got the win. And wow, what a spot. Okay, the last 4 spots of the match are all table spots, and it takes out every member of Undisputed Era all the way up till the end, and then the match like it was just this was if the women's match wasn't so goddamn perfect for what it was, this was an awesome fucking match. This would have been the match of the night.
Yeah.
Yes.
Before I break down several of the spots that I've got, I'm going to send it to you first, Jerry.
I was actually really enthused with this match. The main mystery was who's going to be the 4th member, and that's what pretty much had me on the edge of my seat for the whole thing. Otherwise, we saw the main power moves out of Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic, and they showed that they're supposed to be in this match for one, and two, the second Keith Lee came into that match. Good grief, he was just taking out everyone. I think he nailed a punch. I think it was to. I want to say Kyle O'Reilly, right as Keith Lee tried to get in, Kyle O'Reilly ran up there, and Keith Lee just.
Oh, it was a left-handed forearm.
Just left-handed forearm, just clocked him.
Sick-looking forearm.
And then the athleticism of jumping over both of them and doing a duck under, then nailing them with the splash was pretty awesome too. But everything leading up to Kevin Owens coming into that match, and then finally getting to see we got to see the Panama Sunrise. I thought we were going to see a package pile driver, but I'm always more excited to see a sunset flip pile driver than I am anything else. So, but the whole match itself, it wasn't up to par, I don't think, with the women's match, because I couldn't get as emotionally invested as I was in that one. But physicality-wise, brutality-wise, I'm wondering how these guys are even going to be able to compete tomorrow night in their respective matches.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with Noah next.
Well, this was definitely a lot of fun. It was intriguing to see Adam Cole, bad egg, did not start off for his team this year in War Games as he's done the previous two. Captain led by example for Team Ciampa, and the one question I had as we were continuing to build towards this, because it wasn't until who's the fourth person that I really got into this match. I was like, who could it be? I was just debating about it with me and my friend Paul. And damn it, he called it. And I was like, who is it? ... We're just waiting, nothing's happening, and then we hear it. And I'm like, no fucking way. Original Titantron, original NXT debut shirt, I might add. And probably the biggest pop of the night, and we got a new gif of Adam Cole's face in shock. Kevin Owens.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Owens was the fourth person, and then the whole match picked up from there. It surprises me that the table didn't have the Undisputed Era symbol, because that was their depth notes, and every person went through a table. Capitalized by Ciampa's air raid crash, shares of what Johnny Gargano did to Ciampa back in that Chicago street fight at NXT TakeOver Chicago 3, I believe it was. But for the match and what it was, and what we're trying to figure out, which at this point is, okay, Undisputed Era has all the gold. Who could take the gold from them? I see a potential tag team. I see our next challenger, Adam Cole, baby. And Kevin Owens, who knows what's next for this guy. But bottom line, I enjoyed the match, what it was, and everyone had fun spots. Keith Lee, the super cruiserweight, the things the man can do is unbelievable. Dijakovic clocking everybody in Undisputed Era was beautiful to hear and see. And Ciampa went into a madman's rampage, but never clapped or gave himself a pat on the back. The match overall was great fun. I hope Kevin Owens next okay, though, from that Panama Sunrise. In the partition in the middle, that was the sickest spot of the match that Isaiah Ray crashed. I enjoyed the match, though, for what it was worth.
All right, Evan.
Oh, man, it was a great match. This is what, makes me love wrestling, right, is when there's a good story. You know what you're getting, when you're going in, and then they pretty much exceed everything, right? So you get all the strategy and all the things, because Tommaso Ciampa's a madman, like my man Noah said. He's a madman. He comes in there, you already know what you're getting. Fight. Dijakovic and Keith Lee. Yeah, man, those two, they showed some incredible athleticism, and that's the crazy thing about NXT is that everybody looks good. Everybody looks good. Undisputed Era, for what they did as a team, as a unit, they were beating down bigger men that take down 2 or 3 guys on a regular basis in squash matches and everything, and it's not the same thing, but at the same time, just for them to be able to cut these guys down to size and make it a match like it was fantastic. It was amazing, and the air raid crash through that table. Damn! How is Adam Cole going to compete against Pete Dunne tomorrow and successfully defend that NXT title? It was a great match, and you know what? The best thing of all is it raises more questions with Kevin Owens. What exactly was this a one-off? Is he done, or did what Triple H say to him on Monday? Did it rub off on him? Did it really?
Giggity.
You know, did he really? Is he really coming over? And you know, Survivor Series is tomorrow. So we might get some answers to that. So that's what I love about wrestling, man. We have more questions in our head than we get answers.
Just when you think you have all the answers, they change all the questions.
They change
the
Okay.
questions.
So, what you did there. But Cindy, you and I were even talking about this, and I was like, I wonder if they're trying to pull a 2001 here. Is Kevin Owens a mole?
Yeah.
Well, no post-match attack. I don't think so. I'm very right now. I'm more invested in the men's Survivor Series no match, just because I want to know where does KO's loyalty lie.
Yeah, because he's going to be in that match. Chris, your thoughts on this main event?
Like I said, I love War Games. I always have loved War Games. It's my favorite match. Everybody knows it. It's my dad's favorite match. Let's say one of the first few wrestling things I watched was War Games matches with my dad. This War Games delivered in every aspect. Like I said, they built this story. A lot of the mystery of who the fourth man is. Like I said, good back and forth action until we got the announcement of who the final person was. When it was Kevin Owens, I was really shocked about it. But, I mean, to me, it was like, that's the Kevin Owens of old. That's the one that first came to NXT. Like I said, I thought the match was incredibly done. And they've set it up, like Evan said, they've set it up for, and Noah said, everybody pretty much said, they've set up for 4 potential matches easily. If Kevin Owens comes back, he could challenge for that North American Championship with Roderick Strong. Dijakovic and Lee, as great as their feud has been, they will work so much better as a team and go after Undisputed Era for the tag titles.
Sheamus and Cesaro, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and then go ahead and let Ciampa get Goldie back. That's what I would do at this point. Like I said, they set this up perfectly. And the only thing I will say is I was worried about Ciampa at some points because he kept looking like he was holding his neck. If you saw some of that match, he kept looking like he was holding his neck. Whether he was either selling, because, you know, like that's one thing I was worried about with him going into this match is that, you know, this is a fucking brutal match. You know, he just has come back recently from this injury, and, you know, this is a big, major surgery he had. That was the only thing I was worried about was with him, but he showed me tonight, man, he can deliver.
He could deliver an air raid siren off the top of the cage through a table and still stand up.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we know how good Ciampa's neck is after that.
Cindy, your thoughts on the men's War Games match?
Well, as I stated in the past and bring it up, NXT TakeOver War Games will always have a very special place in my heart because that's actually my first ever NXT TakeOver show I ever gone in my life. That was last year's War Games 2 in LA. So seeing the men's War Games match this year was by far way better than last year's War Games match. I mean, from start to finish, everything was pretty incredible. When Ciampa started to walk through this double ring, it's like, I knew he's ready for war. And I'm pretty surprised that Roderick Strong volunteered Adam Cole. They're like, well, go ahead and start off first. So that was like, you know, pretty much a nice gesture. I really like the fact that Keith Lee and Dominic D was pretty civil about it because, face it, they just wanted to make sure just to make it for the win for this War Games match for their team. But then again, I was kind of like waiting patiently, like, okay, who's going to be the Mr. Opponent? Who's going to be a Mr. Opponent? And then right when it hits one, is like, okay, who is there? And then there's like pretty much everybody started to tap one another. And right when I was like, you know, in the middle of sending a voice clip to good brother Chris, mine and Evan's best friend, like I was like, Chris, I don't think there's going to be a 4th person. And then lo and behold, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. And then that's when I was marking out saying, holy fuck, KO.
She kept it real.
That was unplanned, raw emotion, all that. So seeing KO with the first ever Titantron he has, his ring gear from his NXT days, that kind of puts a huge smile to my face as well. Seeing all this dynamic going on with that War Game match, it's very compelling, great storytelling altogether. And especially the part where Adam Cole, babe. I was trying to give KO the Panama Sunrise, like, in the middle of the beam, and then KO counter, and then, of course, Adam Cole did that, and then, boom, hit it in the middle of that metal, like, beam between it's like, oh, shit, is KO gonna be okay? Like, he's fine, it was awesome. And then, of course, the ending where, shit. Ciampa and Adam Cole, baby. I would say that is way better than when Ricochet did the double moonsault at last year's War Game. Since I did witness it live, but that freaking incredible. So I would say this match did hit it up right in the park. And I know I was very curious about what's going to happen with KO. Like, are we going to be seeing him being part of the 5-on-5 match for the Monday Night Raw, or he's going to be siding with NXT? Because, mind you, they haven't even announced who's going to be part of the men's 5-on-5 Survivor Series match for Team NXT. So I know Noah and I did talk about it within one another, that it maybe like 2001 all over again. And I did pull kind of like a bit of a possibility, but I'm not going to jump the whole gun altogether. I'm just going to have to wait and see what's going to happen next tomorrow when Survivor Series come.
Well, to be honest, my notes are kind of light for this match, even though I have a ton of them. It's just there was so much going on, and I was pretty tired after 2 hours. But
that says a lot too, when you can mentally and physically exhaust your crowd after only 2 hours versus having them for 5.
so most of it's like the order that they come out in, because we've got Ciampa and Strong first, and then O'Reilly comes out next, and then Dijakovic. And Dijakovic just takes over and ends up hitting that time to fly, where he does a vertical suplex and throws the dude, only he throws fucking O'Reilly into Fish, which is great. And then catches O'Reilly, like O'Reilly's in between the rings, between the ropes, and he just starts laying these forearms into him that's sending O'Reilly into various ropes behind him.
That was so
and slinging
great.
back into the next forearm. Great comedy. Great comedy. They put some comedy inside a double cage. Who'd have thunk it?
Kyle O'Reilly always puts comedy into every of his matches.
So, so he slung him into Strong, not Fish, my bad, because Fish comes out next, and then Lee comes out after that, and then Cole comes out, and this is where Cole gets the crowd behind him because he starts pulling out tables. Lots and lots of tables. He pulls out 6 tables total, sends 5 of them in the ring, and for some reason sets up a table against the barrier, which doesn't make sense, because once the last person's in the ring, you better not fucking get out. And then it makes sense, he set up his own demise, because as he's finally going to go back into the ring, he gets pushed out, I believe, by Ciampa. Into that table he goes through.
I thought for sure Ciampa was going to sit there for a second to do his clap thing, but he just goes right back to work.
And then Kevin Owens is the 4th member of Team Ciampa, so the crowd goes nuts. Somewhere in all the melee, Dominic Dijakovic hits a moonsault, but it was like a lion salt. You know, it wasn't off the corner, it was off the ropes. And he's on the other ropes on the other side of the ropes. Like he hits it onto O'Reilly, who's got a knee bar onto, I can't remember, it might have been Lee.
Keith Lee.
And then after that, Strong follows Lee up to the top rope and then ends up hitting a goddamn Olympic slam off the top rope. I could not put that down.
No.
Inside the ropes between the rings, we've got a battle between Cole and Kevin Owens. And this is where this is where Kevin Owens almost hits the package pile driver, but then Cole exits out of it on the lift up and then hits a Panama Sunrise off of the double posts onto the metal that's dividing the rings.
The metal partition, as they call it.
Yep.
And then we see the ending with Dominic Dijakovic choke slamming Strong through a table that he only had half set up, and then gets him on the other side, and Kyle O'Reilly gets him in a triangle as he's going for like a single arm power bomb, but then ends up choking him out to where Kyle O'Reilly gets laid up on a table, and Keith Lee comes off the table with the splash, taking him out.
No,
that was Kevin Owens.
Bullfrog
splash. Sorry. On the other side of the ring, that's where Keith Lee, I think it was a power bomb.
Power bombs, Bobby Fish
Bobby Fish threw
they call it,
another table.
Last blasted him.
And then over where the door's at in that ring, they've got 2 tables set up, and you've had Adam Cole and Tommaso Ciampa at the top of the cage for like 3 minutes, just punching each other. Finally, Tommaso Ciampa picks up Cole and hits a air raid siren, a white noise, off the top of the cage through both the tables. And it was the perfect move, because I don't think we've ever really seen him do that move, but it was the perfect move because once they hit, they were both done, but he was already set up for the pinfall.
Yep.
He didn't have to move. 1, 2, 3. Tommaso Ciampa and Team Ciampa get the victory.
Yeah.
And since it is technically the main event, we don't have much time, but let's go around the horn just real quick. Let's give out of 5 stars. What do you give the match, Noah?
I gave it 4. It was fun. The tables were the craziest thing, and so was KO. Fun match. I gave it 4.
Evan?
I'll give it 4 1/4. I like the match, and I think the Kevin Owens surprise and the questions it raises gives it the little quarter star that I'm giving it, so 4 1/4.
All right, Chris?
4 1/4.
Jerry?
4 1/4 sounds fair enough.
Cindy?
4 1/4 as well.
I'm gonna break the mold. I'm feeling generous tonight. I'm gonna give it 4.5. So it was a great match for what it was. I just think it should have been the first match, and the women should have been last.
Isn't it kind of weird that Adam Cole lost a match this time around, and whereas in Toronto he went through 2 tables and landed on Giant Gargano by happenstance?
Ooh. That is a good point. And it was kind of the same type of outcome, too, where both men were laid out, but Cole somehow had his arm in position to get the cover. Just for that continuity, kind of, I'm going to boost it. You got me, 4 1/4.
And besides, Oh, go ahead.
All right, so that brings us to the end of this episode reviewing NXT War Games 3. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for joining our panel tonight. Let's start with Evan. Where can we find you on social media?
Go to Work Fitness on YouTube. Go to Work Fitness on Instagram. Evan LG Francis on Facebook. Check us out, Big Time Wrestling. You already know. Check out the Mac Daddy, the Daddy Mac, the Don Dada. Ain't none how the King Francis. You already know. Let's do it. Yeah.
Chris?
You can find me on Facebook and Twitter, Christopher Mace. You can check out my YouTube channel, The Holiday Christopher Mace. Got 88 subscribers. Very humbled and honored by that. Main shows are the holiday break and my NWA Power reviews that I do every Tuesday night. They get uploaded by late Tuesday night. And like I said, just support the NXT team and support NoDQ.
And Cindy?
Twitter at simply_C_OK. On Instagram, simply_C_OK. I'm still continuing on with the Road to Survivor Series photo art, which, of course, Sunday will be the last of the photo art of the Road to Survivor Series, which cannot wait for that because I've been posting like 20-something days of non-stop wrestling photos. And I have a YouTube channel, simply_C_OK, where I do vlogs of like wrestling shows I've gone to, WWE show, New Japan, independent wrestling show, from a farther distance since I live like 30 minutes to an hour to even like 2.5 hours away from my area. So check it out. And yes, good brother Chris will be featured, like most of my vlog. Evan might be featuring in the near future as well, so make sure to stay tuned for that, and an announcement as well. Please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because if I hit over 200 subscribers, I'll definitely make a video of my 8510 wrestling autograph collection, also known as my Bible.
All right. The main event, Noah.
Support No DQ.
A pleasure as always, gentlemen and lady, as we continue to conclude the NXT Team League. Cindy, you're the front runner right now. Good luck to everyone tomorrow night's Survivor Series. But with that, if anyone wants to know more about me, know this. I'm just a simple man. And if anyone hasn't figured out by now, I am a lifelong fan of wrestling. Not just
Wrestling,
pro wrestling, good shit. Not Vince's good shit. Anyway, not talking about anything wrestling, 5 brands of WWE or AEW, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, or Independent Wrestling, Sports Wrestling, folks. Look me up on Twitter, NoDQ.com/no. I change my Twitter page, or follow my simple YouTube channel at youtube.com/user/10. Everything there, a neat, organized playlist for you. At the heart of it, my series, #205 Last Marriage, where I review and assess and talk about cruiserweight wrestling every week. usually with the holiday, Christopher Mace. Upcoming content includes Ring of Honor 5-hour predictions, maybe, New Japan Pro Wrestling World Tag League finale, and NWA Into the Power. And I can't wait to kick off 2020, where we will be kicking off with some indie DQ for Wrestle Kingdom 14.
Yeah.
But also, if you haven't figured it out by now, support NoDQ, the reason I'm in YouTube, forever indebted to NoDQ family, and of course, inspired and brought on by Jerry and Stefan. So go buy a shirt, buy a cup, buy a tapestry, do it, buy something. NoDQ.com/merch takes you to all the goods. Follow NoDQ on all your social media platforms. Your opinions matter. There's a comment section of everything. Polls, cons, memes, gifts, reviews, recaps, sexy female pics. You name it. Mostly WWE with a little bit of independent wrestling. And as always, I'd like to close. Support your wrestling outlets with me and small. Let's keep growing this incredible, diverse, unique, elite, unapologetic, no BS, uncensored wrestling community together. Simple as that. And good luck to everyone tomorrow.
Well, thank you everybody for helping us review this awesome episode. Well, takeover.
Yeah.
War Games
Yeah.
3. This was great. If you would like to help us review a future episode of NXT UK, come have a spot of NXT with us. You can join us on the big screen and help us review a future episode of NXT UK on our show, the NXT Party. We do that on Friday mornings. So if you are interested, you can leave a comment down below with your email address or find us on social media. Just send me a DM. You can find me on Twitter at nodq.com/Stefan. That's STEFAN. Or if you just want to look me up on Twitter, it's at Stefan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. As always, the R stands for restricted. You can also find the gentleman on Twitter
At generals_JSJ, and also my Facebook group Armbar, all capital ARMBAR, exclamation point. One of our usual guys, Colin, is usually on here. He's got the exclamation point symbol, but he left me a message to read on this real quick. Cheers to 2019 NXT Predictions League for the friendship, and cheer to 2020 for love of the sport, because we are NXT the Cleave.
You're damn right.
We are NXT team.
Yes. So just find us on there, and also just don't try to add Stefan or I to Facebook just individually. It just won't work.
Yeah, you can get us hold of us on Armbar, or you can find me on Instagram, where you can follow nothing but a profile pic. I promise I won't clog your news feed because I don't post shit. But I'm looking for followers for no particular reason. You can also find me on Patreon at Stefan R. Osborne if you want to help with the show. If you don't and you have some time, you can help us for free. You can click that like button over here underneath me. You can click the subscribe button over there underneath Jerry. And if you do that, click the bell icon, because we're going to figure out by next week how to go live. It's going to happen, folks. I've got help coming. And once we go live, that bell icon will let you know when we go. So if you want to have breakfast with us in the morning and review NXT and NXT UK, come. Have a spot of NXT with us again.
Next week we may be on a little earlier. Thanksgiving week, I'll be off, and I'm pretty sure you'll be off too.
We might be able to do the show right after it airs.
Yes.
God forbid. God forbid. But that's for next week. In the meantime, for the Simple Man Noah Foster, for King Evan Francis, for the Holiday Chris Mace, for the Duchess Cindy G, 1/3 of the ladies of No DQ, for the gentleman, the General Jerry Slaughter, I am the Wizard of No DQ, Stefan Osborne. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you in NXT time.
Cheers, y'all.
Have a good night, y'all.
Have a good night, folks. Enjoy the Survivor Series.